What up, y'all? We back for the meantime. We are back for the meantime. It's your boy Andre, and I kind of wanted to wait for both the NBA and the NHL postseasons to be done, just so I can give my overall thoughts on both of those, and I'll split them up into two separate podcasts, I should say, two different videos, just because it's a lot. It's a lot to go through. For me to kind of cram everything into one big episode. So we'll start with the NBA, kind of give my postseason reactions and what I thought about it after what we saw, these last like 2-3 months in the NBA postseason. We'll also dive into some of the NBA free agency news. I mean, people getting paid, trades, everything in between. We'll get into all of that. So hopefully y'all enjoy. And yeah, let's get right into it. This NBA postseason, man, this was fun to watch. And you already know I don't watch basketball as much as I used to, but I think what got me into it was just how the Pacers played and that run that they've had. No one thought I didn't even think they would make it this far, or I should say make it that far as they did. Um, I eventually put down a 13-1 bet on them to win the NBA Finals. I did that during the second round when I think it was the first game against the Cavs or the third game against the Cavs. It was one of those two games, but I put that bet down because they just look good on both ends of the floor, and I knew Tyrese Haliburton was good. I didn't know he was that good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's not the best scorer in the league right now, but he can score, right? I mean, he's definitely had 20, 30-point games in the postseason. And just the way he's able to lead that team to not count themselves out from 15 points down, 20 points down. He's a true leader at heart. And, I know what happened to him in Game 7 against the Thunder in the finals. It'll definitely suck for the Pacers coming into the next season. And hopefully he comes back healthier and stronger because, once he comes back, he's definitely going to want to make noise. So I'm a fan of him, and I'm a Lakers fan through and through. I'm a Lakers fan, but I love the way this Pacers team plays basketball, and, they're led by Rick Carlisle, and, what we all know what he's done in Dallas, and the way he was able to bring that over to a can we say younger Pacers team? I don't know if we can, but the way he's brought his style, his coaching style to this Pacers team, you can definitely see why the Pacers want to bring him on. His coaching schemes definitely fit, how the players play, and just all just comes natural. And like I said, the way Halliburton just leads his team. I mean, this team can win the NBA championship in the next like 2 years. If he comes back healthier and stronger from his Achilles injury, they can win this championship sooner than later. I have so much faith in this team. And, I probably won't bet them to win the championship next season, but, depending on how Halliburton comes and plays after coming back from his Achilles injury, I'll dive into that. So, I mean, this is a really great team, and you probably won't find it at like 10-1 odds because they're that good. But just seeing what happens in the next couple of years or so, seeing how that team plays out, this team can win an NBA championship, and they can run the East for as long as I know. But that depends on how Halliburton comes back from his Achilles injury for sure. And then can we talk about this Thunder team, this small market Oklahoma City Thunder team? Oh my God. Listen, if you're a Clippers fan, and you look back at that trade with Shea Gilgeous, Alexander, and Paul George, and the first round picks that the Clippers gave up, oh man, you gotta listen. Like I said, I'm a Lakers fan through and through, die hard, I'll bleed, purple and gold all day long. So I have no sympathy for Clippers fans. But man, that sucks. If we knew SGA was going to be this good back in 2019, y'all wouldn't have traded him. The Clippers wouldn't have traded him. Oh man, and Paul George is not even with the Clippers anymore. That's what really sucks about that trade. He's not even there anymore. But man, shout out SGA, man. He's the truth. I mean, he was named MVP for a reason, both the regular season and the NBA Finals. He's the truth, man. He's the truth, man. And man, I just him alone. I mean, he could lead that. He could lead that team to multiple championships if they keep that same core. And if along the line they decide to improve their bench a little bit, this team can make it far, man. This team could they can keep contending for championships. They can maybe be a dynasty at some point, right? Maybe they have a good chance to win back to back, right? So and this is just SGA alone. I mean, I haven't got to Jalen Williams, I haven't got to Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso. Like this is a stacked team. This is a stacked team, and we all thought Denver would run the we all thought Denver would run the West at some point, but it's this Oklahoma City team, man. I mean, shout out small markets, man. Shout out to the small market teams because I mean Indiana, I think they're considered a small market team as well. So I mean these small market teams, they're not so small anymore, man. We gotta start looking out for them because they ain't playing around, man. They ain't playing around no more. Oh my goodness. SGA, man, he's the truth. I love his game. I love Tyrese Halliburton. I love SGA. And I'm a fan of bigger point guards just because they're able to, they're not, it's not just they're able to score, but they're able to find their way to the rim. They don't have to rely on the 3-point game, and they have size. They can, like I said, they like SGA can get to the rim. He has a really good mid-range game, and and he's also quick, right? And with bigger point guards, if you're that skilled, you're able to make your defender be like, oh, I gotta find a way to adjust on how I defend this guy. So and like Tyrese Halliburton, SGA is a true leader, man. He led that team, and I know that NBA Finals, a lot of those, three of those games that they lost, obviously, turnovers and just miscommunication, but you only grow from that and you learn from that. And I feel like if Tyrese Halliburton didn't get injured, with that Achilles injury in Game 7, I think the Pacers come out with the win. I mean, they look so good in Game 6. I had so much faith in them going to Game 7, and obviously, Tyrese Halliburton had that calf strain going into Game 6, and he was fine to play, and he obviously they won, and he had a hell of a performance, and it was very questionable for him to play Game 7, but I don't blame him. I would too. This is Game 7 of the NBA Finals. You have a chance to win the championship. Go out there and play. Why not? Right? But it does suck that he left that early in the game too. Um, but yeah, I mean this Thunder team, man, they're stacked, they're loaded, and SGA. Well, I'll get to this in a bit too. SGA just got paid supermax contract. He's the truth. He's the future of that team. And once guys like LeBron and Steph Curry retire from the league, SGA is the new face of the NBA. I don't see why he wouldn't be. I mean, gosh, it's that good. He's that good. He's a true leader. He's a pure scorer. Dare I say, he's a pure scorer. I thought I've seen it all, but the way SGA plays, man, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of him. After just watching him in this entire postseason. I think, like I said, Lakers fan through and through, but I gotta respect the Thunder. I have to respect the Thunder, and I gotta respect SGA for what he's able to do on the court, on both ends of the floor. Right, can maybe improve in some of his playmaking skills, but he'll get there. And uh, the fact that he won, this championship, he's only going to get better. So I'm looking forward to see what this Thunder team does. Not only next season, but just further down the road. Because I mean, this team, like I said, they can run the West, and if they start running the West, they could potentially be a dynasty. Dare I say, a small market team be a dynasty. Dare I say. So now we'll dive into some NBA free agency, and a lot has happened in the last few days. A lot has happened. So I'm gonna try to go through these quickly and just try to see which ones I don't over explain on or don't give too much thoughts on. Oh, just because a lot has happened, and I mean, there's a lot of big names in free agency, right? So, um, how this all plays out coming into next season, I don't know. But let's get into some of these free agency moves. And obviously, I'm going to go through the bigger moves. I'm not going to go through every single move. So y'all don't got to worry about that. Um, but feel free to chime in and discuss which trades are the most impactful to y'all teams, and just free agency in general. So the first big move of free agency obviously was Kevin Durant getting traded to the Rockets from Phoenix. Um, I I don't know if I'm a fan of this. Well, now that I think about it now, I'm not really a fan of this. I I don't know why you would trade a young talent in Jalen Green to another team when he's done so well for you, and now you're bringing in a 37-year-old Kevin Durant who God knows how long he's gonna be playing this game more. you know, I get it. Kevin Durant is a pure scorer. He's probably one of the best scorers in the NBA. That's no doubt. But the fact that he's 37 years old and you traded, like I said, you traded away a young talent in Jalen Green. How much longer is Kevin Durant going to play in this league? He may have a good 2-3 years left in him. Are you able to contend with the West? Are you able to contend with the Thunder? I don't know. We'll see. They also made other moves. They brought back Clint Capella to kind of bring some of that size back to help Sengun in the paint, which, good for them. But, I just don't know if they're, like I said, I don't watch basketball as much as I used to, so y'all tell me. But I don't think that Rockets bench is as deep as I think it is. So the fact that you're bringing in a 37-year-old Kevin Durant who can score, right? But he's not. I don't really. I've never really seen Kevin Durant as a defender, as an effective defensive player. That's just me. But y'all tell me. But I just don't like this for the Rockets, man. I don't. I think it's gonna bite them back in the ass for this. I think trading Jalen Green for a 37-year-old Kevin Durant, I don't think that was the move, man. I don't think so. But I think this is more of a short-term thing for the Rockets. They might make some other moves moving forward once Kevin Durant decides to retire, or if he gets traded to another team. Who knows? He's been in like 5 other teams since he got traded from Oklahoma City. So that who knows what's gonna happen with Kevin Durant after the season. But I don't like this move. I don't like it for the Rockets. And then I I know the luxury tax kind of it'll mess up some teams, and I guess it messed up the Boston Celtics because they just traded Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, um, within a 2-day span. So they first traded Drew Holiday to the Boston Celtics. They traded him to the Portland Trailblazers for Anfernee Simons and 2 second round picks, two future second round picks. And oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I love Drew Holiday on the Celtics. And I don't know if this is just what happened in the postseason or what just happened in the postseason. I don't know if this was like I said, I don't know if this is like more of like them avoiding the luxury tax or if it's something that happened in the postseason recently. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't have traded Drew Holiday, but Celtics fans go off in the comment section, pop off. I don't know, but I really liked Drew Holiday on the Celtics team. I liked what he brought to the team, not only defensively, but just how he's able to help space out the floor a little bit for guys like Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. So yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. And then obviously Kristaps Porzingis in that 3-team trade between Boston, Atlanta, and Brooklyn. So basically, Porzingis goes to Atlanta, and they get a second round pick out of that too. Brooklyn gets Terrence Mann. They get the Hawks 25, or they end up getting the 22nd pick from the Hawks, and they drafted Drake Powell. Then Boston received George Niang and a second round draft pick. So I mean, they got size back. They got Niang, but Niang is not. He's no Porzingis. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think this kind of works out. I think this works out in Atlanta's favor. I mean, they have more size now. They got Porzingis. If he can stay healthy, I think this Atlanta I think this Atlanta Hawks team can make some noise. I think. I mean with Trae Young there, now you got Kristaps Porzingis, and you gotta I don't want to say solid, but they got a team that can at least contend for a playing spot. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. The Drew Holiday trade, I think I'm more iffy on than more of the Kristaps Porzingis trade. Yeah, I don't know. Celtics fans, y'all tell me. I don't really know how to feel about it, so y'all tell me. How do y'all feel about this trade? Because the Drew Holiday trade, I think will bite them back in the ass. But y'all tell me. Y'all tell me. And then going back to the Rockets, Fred VanVleet was a big get for them. Fred VanVleet signs a new 2-year, $50 million contract deal to stay with Houston, with a player option for the 26-27 season. Or at least I should say at the end of the 26-27 season, he has that player option to either stay with the Rockets or to opt out of it and to sign a new deal. But I think that's a big get for them to keep Fred VanVleet, just because, I mean, who else do you got? Like I said earlier with the Kevin Durant trade, who else do you got in the point guard position? Y'all tell me. I don't know how deep that Rockets bench is, but I feel like at least getting Fred VanVleet back, at least you have a starting point guard on that team. So definitely, and he also can shoot too. He also can score. So how him and Kevin Durant work out, who knows? I don't know. At least they got Fred VanVleet back, so at least that's good. The one trade I want to talk about too is Mark Williams going from Charlotte to Phoenix, which again, I don't like that trade with Kevin Durant, because now you have Jalen Green, and now you have a solid big man in Mark Williams, who was supposed to be with the Lakers, but the Lakers failed his physical test, and now Phoenix gets a solid big man in Mark Williams. So how this plays out, and I know there's been talks about them buying out Bradley Beal's contract and all that. So we'll see how this all plays out. I mean, free agency is never over until we start getting closer and closer to the regular season. So we'll see what happens with that Phoenix team, but at least they get a solid big man and Mark Williams, and you pair him up with the young player and Jalen Green, and you still have Devin Booker on the team too as of right now. So I think if they make another move or two, I think this Phoenix Suns team will be solid. I mean, we'll see. I think they have a solid bench from the last time I remember. I think the last time I remember seeing their roster, I think they have Not maybe not a good bench, but at least a bench that could help them win some games, during the regular season. But like I said, they got a solid big man in Mark Williams. Whoever comes off the bench for him, who knows? Y'all tell me, y'all pop off. Then we got Austin Reeves declining his, or turning down to say, Austin Reeves turns down a 4-year, $89.2 million contract extension with the Lakers. And I mean, rightfully so. Next year, he's eligible. He's eligible for a 4-year, $98 million contract extension for next summer. Whether he opts into that or not, it's yet to be seen. But the fact that the Lakers have just made him that offer just shows like, hey, like we want you on the team, and they should try to fight for Austin Reeves to be on that team. He's a solid player. He can score. He can get to the rim. He's not the quickest, but he can. He's definitely a good role player on the starting five, or you can probably bring off the. You could probably bring him off the bench, but I think you would probably start him. And during next season, you probably start Austin Reeves. But yeah, I hope it all works out with them because as a Lakers fan, I love me some Austin Reeves. We need a scorer. We need somebody that can help out Luka Doncic and LeBron if he decides to stay. I know there's been reports of him, not really liking the roster with the Lakers, and him wanting to still contend for a championship. So, and if he feels like the Lakers can't do that, he's obviously gonna go and look for another trade. Or he's obviously gonna go look for a trade and go to a contending team and build another super team. So, we'll see. We'll all see what happens with that. But it's very, very uncertain with the Lakers right now. I do want to say I was going to save it for later, but since we're on the topic, they did sign a big man and DeAndre Ayton for 2 years. So they get their big man. They also bring back Jackson Hayes. So, so you could probably bring Hayes off the bench for Ayton. Um, the Lakers, I feel like the Lakers should get another guard for get another wing guard. Just kind of play off the wing, whether that's on the 3 point, whether that's to shoot, whether that's to shoot from the 3 point line or to space out the floor a little bit. Definitely want to look into getting another guard, maybe another three, get another small forward. Just kind of help out with some of that spacing, especially for LeBron and Luka to facilitate the floor a little bit. And then we got James Harden declining his player option, which is $36.3 million, to sign a new 2-year, $81.5 million contract to stay with the Clippers. And I mean, what the hell? What are we doing here? I don't know, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? I think Nick Batum stayed too with the Clippers. They were able to work out some new contract deal for him to stay with the Clippers. But come on, man. I get it. James Harden is a scorer. He can score and all that. But you come on, man. Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing, Clippers? Clippers fans, please sound off in the comments because y'all tell me what the hell this team is doing, man. I don't know what this team is doing. I I don't know. And then we have Bobby Portis signing a 3-year, $44 million contract to stay in Milwaukee. Whether that helps out with Giannis staying, I don't know. I know Giannis has been in trade rumor talks for as long as we've been talking about Giannis being in trade rumor talks. You know what I'm saying? Whether that entices him to stay in Milwaukee, I don't know. And then they just brought in Miles Turner as well, which let me look at this deal real quick. It's a 4-year, $107 million deal to go to Milwaukee from Indiana, which I don't like from Indiana's side. Like, why not keep Miles Turner? He's been with y'all since he got drafted to the team, and he just made the NBA Finals with y'all. So I don't know what happened there from Indiana's side. I think there's been reports out there that kind of explain the situation, but I didn't really dive into that. But it's definitely a tough loss for Indiana, but a good get for for the Bucks if Giannis stays. But in order for Miles Turner to be there, they had to waive Damian Lillard's contract, which I think was reckless on Milwaukee's part. Because now they're stretching out, I think it was a 5-year deal, and it's $113 million. So they're paying Damian Lillard whatever I can't do math off the top of my head, but whatever that number is in the stretch of the 5 years that he signed with to be with the Bucks. They're paying him a span of $113 million. So if I'm doing my math correctly, it's like 20 something $million a year up until that contract ends, just to get Miles Turner. He didn't even play a full season for y'all, man. Like, you didn't want to at least wait for him to come back from his ACL injury and to play, at least half a season for y'all. And come on, man, what are we doing in Milwaukee? What are we doing? Y'all don't even know if Giannis is gonna come back. Come on, man, like oh, that's sad. That's sad. Man, Bucks fans, Clippers fans, y'all tell me about how y'all feel about these trades, man, and or I guess for the Clippers side, how do y'all feel about Harden being back? Bucks fans, how do y'all feel about this whole Damian Lillard situation? Because man, that honestly sucks. I I honestly kind of feel bad. You have to pay the guy 20 some $1 million for the next 5 years. Ah, oh, sucks. We got Jaren Jackson Jr. My goodness. $240 million for the next 5 years. It was a renegotiated contract, an extension to stay with the Grizzlies. Listen, they locked up their big man. Good for the Grizzlies. I mean, the guy's been good for the team, right? And then you still got John Moran on the team as well. And I know the Grizzlies haven't really been the team that they could be, as far as like contending for the playoffs and all that. But yeah, and I know they were just in the playoffs this past season, but they got swept by the Thunder, right? So they're not the team that we all think they should be or that they could be. But I mean, signing Jaren Jackson to that, just keeping him around. I mean, that it's big. Whether or not it's a lot of money for a guy like him, I mean, he deserves to get paid. But Grizzlies fans, y'all tell me if he deserves $240 million. I mean, the guy he's a defensive big man. He can get down dirty, down low in the post, on both ends of the floor. So all I'm gonna say is it's a good get for them to keep Triple J on the team. So good for y'all, Grizzlies. And then lastly, just to wrap everything up, and there was a few trades in there that I didn't want to dive into really. There was the Brook Lopez trade to the Clippers, and I think that was big in terms of them getting a big man, but also was big for the Lakers to not get Brook Lopez because they've always they've been needing a big man for the longest time. But then they ended up with DeAndre Ayton anyway, so good for the Lakers, but good for the Clippers, I guess, for getting Brook Lopez. What he'll do for that team, I don't know. I guess him and Zubac, you put Brook Lopez in the starting lineup, which I'm assuming he'll be in, once he gets, once the season starts, be part of that starting lineup with Zubac. So he goes there for 2 years, $18 million. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who was just part of the Minnesota Timberwolves playoff run, he signs a 4-year deal, 4 years, $62 million deal with the Hawks. So another good get for the Hawks. Probably be a starter for that team as well. Help Trae Young, help space out the floor, help some of the scoring there. And I know there was another trade. Oh, Dorian Finney-Smith. He declined a contract extension with the Lakers, making him an unrestricted free agent. signs a 4-year deal, $50 million with the Houston Rockets. So for the Rockets, you're building a team. You're building a solid team. I just don't know what the bench looks like, because I'm assuming it's either he's I'm assuming that Finney Smith is going to be on the starting lineup, right? If you're paying him that much, you assume he's going to be on the starting lineup. You wouldn't pay him to be on the bench for $53 million. But yeah, and it sucks for the Lakers because he was good. He was a good role player for the Lakers, but he just, he didn't want to come back. So, I guess good for Dorian Finney-Smith to be on another team that he feels like he can thrive on better. So we'll see what happens in Houston. But to get to the biggest trade of all so far, at least like the big contract, I mentioned it earlier, SGA, 4 years, $285 million supermax contract. My goodness, man deserves to get paid. I mean, not just this postseason alone, but the years prior to that. I mean, he's proven his worth to be in the league and to be a star player. And like I said, this postseason can make players. And I mean, he's proved himself. I mean, like I said, man has averaged damn near 30 points a game in just the postseason alone. He averaged 6.5 assists, 5 rebounds per game. Guy's a beast, man. I'm such a big fan of him. He deserves to get paid. He deserves to get that supermax contract. So good for SGA, good for Oklahoma City. You keep building around him. I think, like I said, I think this team, dare I say, a small market team becomes a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we've ever seen that in the NBA, but this Oklahoma City team could be the first team to do that. I mean, I don't see why not. If SGA stays healthy, you build around him, you improve the bench a little bit, and SGA doesn't turn over the ball as much as he did in the finals, they can get there, man. I'm really excited for this team, seeing what they do down the road and all that. So, yeah, good for SGA, good for the Thunder. And yeah, that's all I got. I mean, I know it's a lot that I went through. Postseason reaction, free agency recap so far, or I should say what has been happening in free agency so far. Who knows what's going to happen with Giannis? Who knows what's going to happen with LeBron? I don't know, man. But I mean, we still got some moves. I feel like we still got some moves left. I feel like a lot of teams. I know I've seen a post somewhere on social media where like the Lakers and the Celtics and the Hawks I think were in there too. It's like 5 teams are like gonna break like a record-setting NBA trade. It's like a 7-team trade or something like that. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, we'll try to stay on the loop, keep y'all in the loop about whatever future trades comes up after this episode. But yeah, man, I want to thank y'all for being patient. I know it's been a minute. It's been a couple months since we put out something. But at least this is something we put out. And yeah, man, we just apologize, and we'll try to get active. We're trying to revamp something. Ryan and I, we kind of talked about it a little bit recently. We're thinking about revamping what we do with this podcast. But we'll definitely be active for the NFL season. Ryan and I will definitely get together for that, for the NFL season. So we'll find a way to make it work as we always do. And until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell y'all friends, tell y'all grandmas, tell y'all moms, tell y'all family about this podcast. Y'all already know the drill. If y'all love what you hear, comment, like, subscribe, follow our social media pages on TikTok, Instagram, and until then, we'll see y'all in the next one. Whenever that is, we'll see y'all in the next episode. All right, it's your boy Andre. And until then, deuces.